my darlings, and welcome back to my kitchen for another kitchen commentary. You know, in the 1950s, women were expected to have the perfect home, the perfect hair, the perfect smile. And if you didn't, then you weren't considered a good woman, worthy of a husband. Fast forward to now, and it feels like the internet, well, the social media basically, have rebuilt those pressures, but in a different costume. The kitchen is Instagram, the lipstick is a filter, and the spotless house is your curated feed. So yes, I have been thinking about this. Maybe we're all just playing out a modern version of the 1950s housewife ideal. And I don't mean the style. And we're just doing it with ring lights and editing software. In the 1950s, everything was about appearances. Women were judged by how tidy their homes were, how put together they looked. Today, it's not the neighbors peeking over the fence, might be those two, but it's basically everyone scrolling past you online. And the stage is your feed. It's funny, but it's also a little bit depressing at the same time, because the script hasn't really changed, just set design has. As a YouTuber, I share parts of my home, my rooms, my wardrobe, little corners of my life. And before I ever turn on the camera, I tidy up. I don't do that because I'm pretending my house is always perfect. Trust me, with 7 cats and a hairy dog, there's usually hair floating around everywhere. And some dishes in the sink. I tidy because it's how I was raised. I see you as my guests, my friends that I invite over to my house. And I would never invite someone and not tidy up and not clean and wash the dishes. I wouldn't do a full spring clean, but I would definitely want my house to be cozy and presentable and clean so that my guests feel comfortable and at home. Of course, that doesn't mean that showing the mess is a bad thing. If it's a part of what you're sharing or a part of the narrative, then yes, of course. If I'm showing you a cleaning routine, then I have to show you the before and the process so I can show you the after. Or if I wanted to share with you my everyday struggles with the cats and all the hair that I have to clean up, then yes, I would show you the mess. I think that's where the line is. There's a difference between tidying up out of respect and tidying up because you feel pressured to perform perfection. In the 1950s, women were told to have dinner ready, kids scrubbed, the house spotless, and all without breaking a sweat. The labor was supposed to be invisible. On social media, it's kind of the same. A 10-minute video might look relaxed, casual, even effortless. But what viewers don't see is the hours of preparation, filming, editing, cleaning, scripting, writing captions, taking pictures for thumbnails, etc., etc. All the invisible labor that makes things look natural. It's basically housework, just with a ring light and a camera. And if you do it well, no one notices. But if you don't, then people will. Another thing that hasn't changed is comparison. 1950s women compared their homes to their neighbors, whose curtains were cleaner, whose roast was juicier. Today, instead of a few neighbors, it's millions of strangers on Instagram or TikTok. You scroll and see someone else's perfect kitchen, perfect body, perfect morning routine, and you think, oh shoot, mine doesn't look like that. Back then it was one street, one neighborhood. Now it's the whole planet. No wonder it feels suffocating sometimes. And of course, there's also the product side of all this.
So, for new highs in performance, for more features to demonstrate, it's the Imperial 121 for 1957.
In the 1950s, women were told they needed the new vacuum, the new miracle cream, the Tupperware party set. Today, it's the new skincare serum, the trending candle, the aesthetic coffee cup, the special notebook that supposedly makes you more productive. Same machine, different packaging. Perfection has always been sold back to us. The message is still, you're not good enough as you are, but buy this and maybe you will be. And then there's the whole idea of authenticity. Everyone online says, just be real, just be yourself. But even authenticity is a performance now. It's still curated, still lit properly, still edited down to look natural, but not too natural. It reminds me so much of those 1950s rules where a woman was supposed to look effortless while secretly working like mad behind the scenes. Online, you're supposed to be authentic, but only in a way that looks good on camera. And aging, that one really gets me. In the 1950s, women weren't necessarily shamed for looking older, but they were basically erased if they hadn't hit certain milestones. If you were over 40 without a husband and children, society wrote you off. Today, thankfully, women are far more visible, which is progress. But the pressures are different. We are criticized for looking older. Wrinkles, gray hair, natural changes. But we're also criticized if we had too much work done and we look fake and plastic. So it's a no-win game. You age naturally, you're judged. You try to slow it down, you're judged. Society cannot really give women a break, no matter the decade. Do you agree? At least now things are better. Women over 40 can live loudly, visibly, joyfully. But the anti-aging obsession online still feels like another version of the 1950s dismissal. Back then you were invisible. Now you're hyper visible, but under a magnifying glass. You know, we see every wrinkle. And even the way we share our struggles has this weird pressure. In the 1950s, women were told, to never burden anyone with their problems.
Don't monopolize the conversation and go on and on without stopping. Nothing destroys the charm of a meal more quickly.
And to keep everything hush-hush. Just put on lipstick and keep going. This is Mickey Mouse, by the way, Chico's brother. Now we are allowed to share our sadness. But even that gets repackaged into aesthetics. Crying selfies in perfect lighting, melancholy TikToks with piano music in the background. It's not that the feelings aren't real, but they're filtered, edited, they're presented. It's like even our vulnerability has to look good. And let's not forget how today many people kind of take advantage of sad stories, which is really bad. In the 1950s, women had rigid daily routine. Monday was laundry, Tuesday ironing, Wednesday baking. The schedule kept you on a hamster wheel. On social media, the hamster wheel is the algorithm. Update constantly, keep up with trends or get buried. It's endless. Different century, same exhaustion. But here's the thing, and maybe this sounds strange. I actually think some of those routines had a kind of wisdom in them. Not the pressure of doing something to please a husband or to perform perfection, but the idea of spreading your chores so they don't pile up. Like if you do laundry on Mondays, dust on Fridays, well, you're not drowning in chaos. If you're keeping a home for yourself, your pets, your family, or whoever, routines can be a real help. They can make life feel calmer, more cozy, more manageable. The key is, though, that you choose them instead of them being forced by society's expectation. Without that outside pressure, routines can actually be a gift, not a burden. So here's where I land. There are things that we can keep from the 1950s. Courtesy, respect, hospitality, making people feel welcome. But we don't need to keep the relentless perfection, the judgment, the pressure to always perform. For me, that means treating you, my friends, with respect. You are welcome here, you are respected here, but you are never fooled into thinking that my life is flawless. And maybe that's what freedom really looks like, and what social media should be like. Not proving youth, not proving perfection, not proving happiness every day. just being present. Online, yes, but more importantly, offline. So I will leave you with this question. What would freedom from these pressures look like for you? Also, this is kind of evolving into a series, the kitchen commentary. So do you like these kind of videos? Do you enjoy them? And are there any vintage life or slow living related topics that you would like me to discuss? Let me know in the comments as well. Thank you so much for spending this time with me in my kitchen. I'll see you next time for another kitchen commentary. Toodaloo! Eh?